Hey guys, if you click that link, you're wanting to know more about a really cool local podcast here in Teller County called the Stories of Midland. So make sure you stay tuned to the end and we'll talk about it and you'll get the chance to find out if it's something for you. Hey guys, real quick before we get in the video, I just want to mention, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell down below. What that'll do is it'll help you just know when there's a new video that's come out that you might want to watch just about living in the Woodland Park or Teller County community, and it'll keep you up to date. We got videos coming out at least once or twice a week, and you'll be able to get a good idea of what's happening out here as well. So certainly make sure you hit that little subscribe button and that notification bell. Also, if you've got any questions at all or you're wanting to talk to me, please don't hesitate. Give me a call, 719-304-9772. You can shoot me a text at that also. You could also email me at james.dean@kw.com. I honestly have folks that are emailing me, calling me all the time, asking questions. Please let me be your local real estate expert and give me a call or shoot me a text. Hope you guys enjoy this video. So here with Tommy Allen. Yeah. So what made you think about getting into the Stories of the Midland in that podcast?
Well, I've actually been a history buff my whole life. I love history. I always have since I was like in elementary school. And I like getting into the history of the places that I'm at. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you wander around Teller County and you ask them about the history here, considering that we've got all that great mining history down the road in Cripple Creek, and nobody can really tell you anything about it. There are a few historical societies that are fantastic, and there's a lot of information there, but there just isn't a lot in your average person. And so I came up with the idea of making Stories from the Midland to be a central repository for that knowledge that will develop over time, that anybody who wants to know about the area, whether they be from Teller County, whether they want to visit Teller County, whatever, they can go there and find that information and learn the rich history that we have here.
Yeah.
I kind of, you have I was looking at your fluorescent, was that the fluorescent when you're orientation. Thank you, with the map there, and the whole time I'm thinking that kind of what you're doing and what I'm doing are really good companion pieces. Yeah. Because as you're going around Florissant, I've got this great story about the son of the guy who founded Florissant, who did all of these things to make Florissant what it is. Yeah. Or Adelaide Hornbeck and the stuff that she did. I was thinking about how that really does a nice job of complementing that great orientation work that you're doing with the towns. And so that's kind of the long way of saying that I just wanted to provide information for anybody who wants it in one place.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And it's not dry or anything too. Like a lot of times you get into, you hear history and you're just like, oh, history. Yeah. But it's like really good stories and stuff that you kind of get into. And it's a lot of stuff. I mean, I've been here for over 7 years. Never heard half of the stuff that you guys are talking about. Probably not even a quarter of the stuff that you talk about on the podcast. Knew nothing about the Texas 7 until I actually heard the podcast. And then my favorite podcast, which is one of the first ones, with the runaway train.
Yeah.
That went down up by Cripple Creek, or I guess that was the Gillette Flats area that was similar to where that was.
Cameron. It was in Cameron.
It is, Cameron, yeah. That's no longer really around.
No, it's not
anymore. But it's just fascinating because you put into a story type spiel on history, and you're able to feel like you're there, and it draws you in. So.
Well, yeah, I get pretty emotionally wrapped up in a lot of these things. My writing and producing partner, Trevor, a local journalist here, but somebody who's been doing history here the whole time, we both share that kind of passion for having a good story told. Yeah. And then when I relate it, like I said, I get emotionally wrapped up in them, and I just can't help telling the story like I'm right there experiencing it.
Yep. And you told me we were talking the other day, you were saying how much you identify with the heroes and Trevor identifies with the villains in a lot of ways. So that's pretty cool, because when you both do the podcast, I mean, it just comes out with a different feeling also with what you're talking about. So.
And Texas 7 being a perfect example of that. Yeah. You've got the heroes, the cops that were out there doing things. You got the villains, these horrible, horrible Texas 7 guys. And so we've got both sides. Like I said, Trevor really enjoying the villain side, and me enjoying the hero side.
Yeah.
So, that's one of my favorite things to do with the podcast is to tell stories of amazing people doing amazing things.
Yeah.
And we're a sensationalist population, so that goes so far, but the villain stuff, that sells. People love the villain stuff.
Oh yeah.
So.
And you get pretty emotional in your booth too. So we got your sound booth here, and so you could tell it's not just I'm just talking into a microphone kind of a thing. Like you're really getting emotional and getting into it within the booth.
Well, yeah. So I recently did a podcast on a fella named Billy Westall. Guy who train engineer who saved 450 passengers, sacrificed himself to do it, and ended up dying from it. And his dying moments really affected me. And so I'm there and I'm trying to get through talking about this guy's dying moments, and and then I get through it, and now I've got to say what comes next. Yeah. And I had to take a break, get out, walk around a bit, get a little tea, and go. Gather myself before I finish the podcast.
Yeah.
And you're right. I get I hope that comes through. I really do, because I think it's a part of me that I'm kind of giving to everybody through history, I think.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. And I really think it shows through too. I mean, these podcasts are fairly short. I mean, you can listen to one usually about 5 minutes is probably average.
5 minutes is about average.
Some a little bit shorter.
Got a couple that are 10, and I think Texas 7 is 19.
Yeah. No. But they're easy to like hop in your car or listen to or going through. But you can hear all that emotion going into it, which really draws that listener in as well.
Well, good. So, that's really what I'm hoping to achieve.
Yeah. So Stories from the Midland. What different platforms do you guys have that out on so folks can listen to it?
Well, so storiesfromthemidland.com, our website, we have them all there. And then off of that, we feed an RSS feed out to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify.
Perfect.
So, I mean, it's anywhere that anybody may be listening to. I think we've pretty much got it covered.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys also have a Facebook page as well, don't you?
We do. Trevor has been doing a phenomenal job on that Facebook page. When I have time, I drift through and I'll drop a little seed here and there, but Trevor has been building that thing up, and we've really picked up a lot of listeners through his efforts on the Facebook page.
I bet.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
And for you guys, I will definitely put a link down at the bottom of this video, either in the description if it's on the YouTube channel, or it'll be in the actual the little comments or verbiage section on the Facebook ad stuff, so you guys can actually click it and actually find out exactly where this stuff is and download it, because it's definitely worth doing. So, and it's the history of Teller County too. I mean, there's things like just the way the county was formed, and talking about the tax history and why we didn't want to pay taxes to El Paso County, what Colorado Springs is, and then a lot of the big really wealthy individuals that came out of the Cripple Creek area. I mean, it's phenomenal just knowing the type of impact this area, and you don't really realize it if you come in without that knowledge these days, because some of these towns are so old, it just doesn't have that same old vibe, even though a lot of it's coming back, I think, as well. So it's cool.
Well, you look at Woodland Park, and I don't think it has a single building that was from back in the 1880s when it was built. It's all newer construction, and so to be able to look back and realize what used to be there is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and this place has grown a lot really quick. I mean, gosh! You talk to the sheriff, Jason Micasell, and he grew up here.
Yep.
And just talking to him about the way it was when he grew up, and people riding horses everywhere still. I mean, this is like our lifetime.
Yeah. It was the Wild West not 20 years ago.
Yeah. So it's changed a bunch just in the last couple decades for sure, but a lot of rich history, a lot of really proud people, and they deserve to be proud for what this town represents in the community and the county as a whole as well. So.
I'm remote. I'm out in Divide, so it's nice and quiet out here, and I don't have a big ranch. I've got a couple of acres, but so does everybody else around here. So we're spread out enough to not be in each other's business, but close enough that we're still a community.
Yeah.
So I love it here, and it really, I can close the door and get quiet and start working on my podcast and just really enjoy my life here.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to be, and there's so many great stories that something new pops up every day. Yeah. So I'm going to be recording something here today.
Awesome.
We've after working the the fire, I kind of got behind on the podcast that's supposed to be released today, so I'm releasing it tomorrow. And
Yep, life happens.
Yeah, it does. Well, and it's amazing how the community comes together out here for stuff like that. And that's part of the history here, is the community coming together for all of these events that happen. And I love that. I love writing and reading about all of the events that happen where you see the community just pull together and pull through, and that's kind of what Teller County's history is, coming together to achieve all of these great things.
Heard it called the Code of the West, heard it called all kinds of things through there too, but it's that personality that really kind of pushes through and falls through on this. Makes it a very unique place compared to other mountain towns and other mountain communities within the Colorado area too. I think Teller County is definitely
very unique. Very unique. I absolutely agree.
Well, there you have it, guys. Stories from the Midland with Tommy Allen and Trevor Phipps. Awesome podcast. If you haven't done so yet already, make sure you click that little link down below. That'll take you to their webpage. You could also visit them on their Facebook business page, or just go to your local podcast library and search for Stories from the Midland, and you're going to be very, very happy you did. It's a lot of fun, really cool to check out, so make sure you do that. Also, once again, if you haven't done so yet already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell down below so you stay up to date on living in Woodland Park, and I hope you guys enjoy.